We'll go.
We are going. Hello, it is the Real Ones.
Hey there, YouTube and podcast families. We love you. We are excited to be here, and we've got some incredible information coming through.
Absolutely. And I'm Lisa Jones, in case this is the first time you've been here, and this is
Goldyn Duffy.
awesome. Oh my gosh. It's been such an amazing week. I'm on day 5 of my cleanse, which we'll talk a little bit more about, but I feel I'm just so high. I know. It's exciting. So yeah, be sure to stay tuned if you're
I sometimes wonder if like the food is like messing up everything. Like it's messing up all of our spirituality. And you talk to anyone who's done long, drawn out cleanses, and it's life changing.
It is.
Take your focus off of food. You don't even realize how much you think about it, how much digestion takes away from your spiritual connection and all of
Well,
those.
and not only that, but how much crap we eat, so when you're not eating crap, it's like, oh my God, when you're feeding your body, like right now, literally all I'm having is lemon juice in the morning, celery juice, and then papaya, banana, and I just introduced some lettuce, butter lettuce. So yeah.
Right now.
Woo! But there's nothing else going in my body. And so that's why I feel so clear. Whereas, when I'm eating, like, even though it's like dairy-free ice cream, I mean, I don't know what else is in that crap.
There's a whole bunch of processed crap in that.
Yeah. So
my husband's getting to the point where he can't tolerate anything. So we might have to put him on the banana papaya diet.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We're coming up on 11/11.
Right.
So
let's go to Facebook.
We're going on to Facebook Live right now and
bring in more of our family. And the hawk just flew by. How cool is that?
Gosh. Did they find a new home? I know the last time.
Yeah, they found another tree. So they're still around, thank goodness.
Not too far.
No, they're right. They're still flying by my window, reminding me who I am.
That's good. Oh my gosh. I have a few totems to talk about.
Cool.
Oh my
higher
gosh.
Perspective, right?
What's that?
I said it's all about higher perspective. That's what the hawk represents. Is like
for sure. Yeah, for sure for you. But for my totem, actually,
you've had some weird shit.
I've had some really weird things come into my life, but this last one, it was really good. We'll talk about it. All right, we're going live.
All right.
Well, I got to put a title in. What's our title?
Sharing the magic.
Feeling
the magic today.
Sharing the magic. Woo! I love that. Magic time. It is 11/11 here in Hawaii, and welcome.
Hello, Facebook family. We love you, and we're so happy to be here.
And we got here at 11/11. It's right on time today. So
yeah, we're committed to this time now, so that everyone can kind of mark their calendars and be here with us.
Exactly. All right, cool. So I see us. We are live.
We are there. Do we have to check Facebook? Or are we good?
I just checked it. We are live.
Awesome. So give us a shout out if you're there, so we know we're not all alone, but we know we're never alone. So it's all right if you don't.
Exactly.
All right. We got a lot of things to share today.
Absolutely.
Lisa's on fire.
I am on fire. We talked a little bit about it last week, but I'm actually now on day 5 of my medical medium mono cleanse, which isn't really mono. I'm on 5 things: lemon juice in the morning, celery juice after that. And then I can eat as much papaya, banana, and you can add lettuce. So I did, because I needed something crunchy.
Something to chew. Yeah.
You can imagine just eating bananas and papayas. I did that for 2.5 days, and I'm like, I need to crunch something. So he said you can add butterleaf lettuce. So I did. So now I'm wrapping my banana up in a lettuce, like a little tortilla.
It's like a banana sandwich.
Exactly. So I'm like being creative with my limited amount. But I feel my head, like I am clear. I am so filled with energy. I am so excited. Hello, lower back, and I don't know what it's like, the muscles it's like along my spine and lower back and hips, thighs, but it's on the back. It's so weird. It's like my front feels fine, but it's just like this aching.
I wonder if that's like
feeling.
A kidney thing, like your kidneys are.
It could be. I was reading, this book is so thick. I mean, check this out. It is like.
That overwhelms me just looking at it.
Yeah, I know. So I was up last night reading because I could not sleep with the amount of, and I don't want to call it pain. What did your coach call it?
He calls it swirling energy, but I will say whenever I cleanse, I cannot sleep. So
Interesting.
that's actually a side effect of cleansing. I don't know
Right.
if you just don't
Insomnia.
need to sleep because you have anything to digest, but I always have to take something to get me to sleep when I'm cleansing.
Oh, interesting. Well, and then I was up at the crack of 5, ready to
Yeah.
go, wide
Yeah.
awake. And I had only
It's like
fallen
we're
asleep
wasting energy by eating. I don't
I
know.
think
I don't.
so. I think that's exactly right. But he did talk about, when the toxins are like dying off, or, if you've got like candida, which I've had in the past, I don't know if I have it now, but definitely there's like this die off period. So I think that's what that is, because it's like throbbing at times. Sometimes it's gone for a few minutes and then it comes back. It's like this weird phantom energy swirling that's going on. Because
Interesting.
because I was checking in. I'm like, is this pain? I'm like, it's not really pain, but it's not comfortable. But
Yeah.
I don't know. So then I try to do the spiritual thing, and I like lay on my right side, and I'm like, okay, we're going to drain it all down and then let it go out through my foot, and then I get filled with all this amazing energy. I call in the angels and everything, and that feels really good.
So smart.
So,
So smart. Yeah, we have control over all of it, don't we?
Exactly. So,
and if you're not in resistance to it and you work with the energy, you're much more likely to let it flow through you.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I kept doing is last night when I was trying to fall asleep, like dropping into meditation and just asking my body, what do I need to know? And again, it was just, you're clearing, you're cleansing, and all is well. Keep going.
Yes.
So.
Just let it go. And you have to do this for how many days are we doing this for?
7. So yeah, I'm on day.
I say we because I'm hoping I gain some sort of benefit since we're so close. I don't actually have to do it.
Exactly.
So, I'm not cut out for cleansing. Well, I guess that's a belief, but
what'd you say?
I just feel like I'm not cut out for it. I've done it and I've experienced the clarity and you have so much energy and you're just, but I really like eating. So
yeah, it's interesting. It's,
but so good to give your body a break, right?
It is so good. And that's the whole point. And especially when you read through, I mean, my God, healing for anxiety, depression, acne, eczema, Lyme, gut problems, brain fog, weight issues, migraines, bloating, vertigo, psoriasis. I mean, it goes on and on. So I'm kind of like, I want what he's
all of that
given out, right? Yeah. So
that's amazing. So people should check that book out and let us know if you're gonna.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, I had worked.
There's a lot of people that want to do it. We could set up a little, group and kind of and stuff. That would be
fun. That would be fun. And as I mentioned last time, I have worked with him one-on-one before he got famous. So I have total belief in the stuff he does, because he totally helped me when I was, I've been going to doctors and doctors. I couldn't figure out what was going on. And he diagnosed me with chronic shingles and put me on a protocol, and boom. I mean, it worked. It was amazing.
I had a question about that. What the heck was it? Oh, do you think you'd be able to exercise? Like,
I've been doing, yes.
Hard exercise. Like, do you have a lot of energy?
Well, so yesterday I went to beach dance. It was the first time it opened. Yay. And so we had to distance, far apart, which, when we were in our circle or whatever, but anyway, I got to dance. So when I was dancing, I felt great. It was like moving my body is really good, but I tried to do yoga. I can't do those prolonged stretches. So there's something about the muscles that are kind of locked up right now. And I just need to let it flow out of
I wonder if rolling would help you. Have I ever showed you my roller?
No.
Next time, next show, I'll bring it on. It's downstairs, but I have a roller that has nubs on it.
Oh.
It's absolutely like masochism. I mean, it's not fun, but I'm used to it now. But it unlocks all of my muscles that get super jammed up.
Wow.
And we did a class at the gym. It was an hour-long class about rolling out your body and even laying on a weight on your hips and on your psoas muscle. And it's, I forget the terminology, somebody probably knows it on here, but it's like myofascial release, but it's self-myofascial release.
Wow.
So it's like kind of like self-massage. So I've been getting really into that because I love my massages, but I just can't get them often enough for what I'm doing to my body to like work out all the lactic acid.
Yeah.
So it's been a game changer. Definitely.
Cool. Well, I have to maybe.
Yeah, I'll show you. It's not for the weak. So for the weary. In fact, I had like 10 bruises on my butt the other day. Mike was like, what did you do? I'm like, oh, it must be from rolling.
Oh my gosh, that does sound painful. I don't know about that. That's scaring me.
It's so good though. Like it just releases anything that gets trapped.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
cool.
Good for you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I did. I mean, I texted you the first day. I'm like, I don't think I can do this. I'm freaking out. And you're like, oh, it'll get easier. And I'm like,
the second day is always easy. The first day is brutal.
Yeah.
And then the second day it gets easier. But I've only done 2 days. That's the longest I've ever gone.
Yeah. I'm shocked that I'm already this far in.
That's really good.
Makes it easy.
That's awesome. So we've got a lot of events happening in the world, and the way that we're going to talk about those, I think, is just spinning some positivity and light on situations that maybe feel out of control or maybe have made you feel a lot of fear. It's not necessary. And if you do feel a lot of fear, it just means that you have some fear to clear. And this is all really calling us to more love and compassion if we can shift ourselves into that perspective and continue to reach up and to continue to be diligent about protecting our fields, then there's so much goodness coming. Like when there's tons of contrast, I always like to think of this as the trampoline, and like the further we go down, the higher the bounce. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I feel like we're kind of at the bottom and it's like we're about ready to take the bounce. So I think just really staying strong in your faith and trust that all things turn to good and all is well. We got that message right before we popped on. You got the message that all is well, and I got the message that the momentum of good is coming.
Yes.
So we just need to focus on.
And that it's an inside job, no matter who you are, no matter, we're all, I mean, again, we are all one ultimately, and we all are having our own individual experiences on this earth. But any triggering, anything that's you're blaming outside of you, that's not the issue. It's something that's inside of you that needs healed. And that's what both Goldyn and I have done just so much of, is healing our inner wounds and, not taking 100% responsibility for our own lives. And that's what we highly recommend for you listening, is you've got to take 100% responsibility for your own life, because you can't change anybody else out there.
Absolutely.
And it's just a reflection of what's going on inside of you. That's what's happening out there.
Absolutely. And, jump on our website, therealones.com, and grab that trauma release, because it's just a great way to start releasing things. Some of the other things that I've seen people do, especially in the work that we do together, is people like to hold on to their traumas. They like to identify with them. In fact, we were watching a show the other day. It was Undercover Boss. I love that show. It always makes me cry. And there was a guy on there, and he was telling his story, and he was sobbing about the regret that he had for leaving his grandfather's funeral so he could go get high because he was an addict, and just the regret you could feel. And he was talking to this other man who had his own regrets, and he was crying. And I'm like, these people literally carry these things around every single day of their life. They're in the back of their head and feel the guilt and the shame every day. And when you understand healing work and you start to do the work, you can start to let those things go, and you feel 8 million times lighter, and you no longer attract situations that reflect that guilt and shame to you. So I'm kind of like, I'm looking at the world from that perspective, and what's happening right now, and what people are managing and triggering and fighting Jesus, arguing constantly. And it's like we're all just in this massive trauma. and if we don't work within and we keep blaming without, nothing will get healed. However, when it gets this much, like when we get this much contrast, healing is inevitable. It's inevitable, because we can't stay in contrast forever. That just
exactly. And it's so funny, because I had mentioned this, you and I were on a call the other day, and I said, it seems like it's like a boil or some gross, thing. But then somebody else, oh my God, what was her name? Christine Northrup. She's an MD. And I watched her video later that day or the day after, and she said exactly that. She said, as an MD, this is exactly what happens with like a boil or like a cyst that, you know, and the only way to go in anyway, I don't want to get all,
Yeah, that's
you're getting
really
all,
gross.
but it is, it's like, it's all that infection needs to come out, all of that. And that's what's happening right now. It's all coming out. And then, and that's the only way it can heal, because you can't leave it in there. And that's what's been, it's been boiling, you know, roiling and boiling
under the surface.
under the surface. So,
well, and I think for the first time, people are really feeling like they can express, you know,
yeah.
regardless of the things that are happening that feel wrong. It's like finally people are being able to express, and things that have been wrong in our society for a long time are getting addressed. So
absolutely. And I see that changes are happening already. I saw something, and again, it's hard to know with fake news out there what's happening and what's not, but I did see a post, and it sounds like things are, you know, changing. Things are, you know, and I'm excited, and I'm happy, and that's what we need. We need change.
And that's
we
what
need equality for all. And
and
that's and love.
It's funny. We watched a Bruce Lee documentary last night that was super interesting, and funny that they put it on right now, but just how he really had to fight racism to become, you know, this legend in America. And unfortunately, he didn't really become the legend in America until after he died. And I just didn't realize all these things about Bruce Lee. He was very woke. I mean, he very much wanted to have lines that were about the internal relationship and all of these things. And it just, if you get a chance, watch it, because it was super interesting. He was a really cool guy. But he fought for equality, because at that time too, it was like in the 70s, he had come to America and tried, and it was really hard for him to get the roles that he really wanted as far as like sharing his information. So then he went back to Hong Kong, and they didn't respect him in Hong Kong because he had been in America.
Oh my
So then
goodness.
he came back to America, and it was just really interesting how he kind of navigated that whole thing and how he overcame it. And the basis of his information was, you know, we don't accept this, we overcome it. And that was the coolest thing. I think the coolest message that I got from it was, none of us are victims, and we all have the potential to become more by deciding that we're not victims. So that was super cool.
Absolutely. And that's huge, is to not be a victim. And listen, I was like the number one victim in my life up until 3 years ago. So, you know, that's just part of the human experience, is learning how to not be a victim, because again, as children, we're basically taught, you know, or that's like how we figure out how we get attention, you know. It was
blaming our siblings.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though they had a lot to be blamed for in my family.
That's right. Oh my goodness.
So I listened to a really cool Abraham, and I wanted to share.
Yes, please do. And I'm going to just look, I'm going to be looking and seeing if anybody's
go for it. See if anybody is. So it was about financial, and a guy had asked a question, you know, he's got all these ideas, but he's really blocked in the financial department because he feels like, you know, the idea has to solve his financial problems. And she was like, just take your eyes off the money, get excited about the idea. And I thought that was really interesting, because most people are like, how can I make the money? How can I pay my bills? And they put that in front of the idea. And so the idea can't come because they're blocking it with, but wait, I have to pay my bills. So it becomes like this resistance around the idea coming to you. And she said, a lot of people haven't done this, but they had an exercise. And I feel like back in the day, we definitely did this, where you put $100 in your wallet.
Yes.
And you walk around, and all day long, you don't buy anything, but you think about all the things that you can buy, because most people are programmed to look at things and say, I can't afford that. And God help me, if that is in your language, if that is in your narrative, I can't afford that. That is the number one thing that you need to stop watching the news, and you need to take out, I can't afford that. Because anytime you do that, you block all the blessings that could flow, that could actually create that scenario for you. So instead of saying that, it's like, well, let's just see what manifests from this. Let's see how I can do this. Let's, you know, open up the paths, open up that possibility towards creating what you desire, because that's the only way to get it done. Really.
I love that. I love that so much. Just a side note about that, the $100 bill. I remember specifically being on an airplane, and I was listening to a tapping thing. I think it was Lynn McTaggart who was talking about it. And it was probably to do about money, but she said, if you never have money in your wallet, because I was like, oh, I don't have money for that, or I don't, because I never had enough
You don't
cash.
have cash. Yeah.
Right. I never had cash in my wallet. And
Yeah.
so and so I now, since then, I have $100 bill. Okay. All the people that are going to come up and rip off my purse out of my bag, but I've had $100 bill.
May not be in her purse. It might be on her person.
That's right. But I have $100 bill.
Put it in her bra.
There you go. With me all the time, because I never don't want to have cash with me. And it makes me feel so abundant to have that $100 bill in there. And I've had to use it a few times. It's like this emergency, but it's always there. I always have money. So now, instead of always saying, oh, I don't have money, I'm like, oh my God, I always have money. I always have it. And it literally, it changes
and that's a really, really easy thing to do. And if you don't have $100, do it with 20. Like, it's just possible to just start shifting your mindset as far as what I have and what I don't have and what I can do. You know, we gotta shift that and kind of open the portal, because it's been blocked, especially if you've been having issues with money for a while. That portal's been blocked and you have to open it up again.
Right. And notice what you're thinking about money. I mean, because again, it's all about, it starts with our thoughts and then our feelings. So if you're feeling, and I know it's hard when you don't have any, because then there's a lot of people going through some
craziness right now. Although I do think there's some people that have more money now, because
that's the interesting thing.
Unemployment has been such a gift to a lot of people.
All my friends that are on unemployment are saying, "Oh my God, I am making more money now. I've got $5,000 I put in my savings." I'm like, what is like? I have, again, I know there's people that don't have that situation, but but most of the people I've talked to, it's going okay right now.
Well, and understand too, if you are in that situation where you are less than abundant than you have been before, just realize that is creating a desire for you to either create a new idea or create a new situation. It's not because you're not worth abundance. It's not because you don't know how to do this. It's because you have set up a belief system that says I'm unworthy and money comes hard. So it's about shifting those mindsets and shifting those belief systems and start telling yourself a new story, creating a new narrative. The biggest thing with money is freedom. That's what people want, is freedom. Mm-hmm. So start doing things that make you feel free, instead of feeling like in this imprisoned state. I was actually thinking today how people are going to feel more free than they ever have before, because our freedoms have been infringed upon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now, like, going out to eat feels like freedom. Like, what? Right? Not having to wear a mask feels like freedom. Right? Like, there's new capacities for joy and freedom that we didn't experience before, because we kind of took everything for granted.
Absolutely. So, well, and that's the other thing is, I mean, I know so many people, it's like they focus on, oh, I need the money. And yet, what do you need the money for? Like, instead of focusing on like just piling up $100 bills in your bank account, how about just focusing on what you want to experience, whether it's a trip or whether it's a house or a car or whatever it is you want. Focus on that and the feeling of having it, because that'll attract the abundance to be able to, and it might not even be through money. It might be through who knows what, but the universe has way better ideas than we do. Absolutely. So I think people just get caught too much up in, how much money they have squirreled away in their bank account, rather than what experiences they want to have on this earth.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now's the time for sure. And get a fountain for your front door. That's what I do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's definitely very feng shui. I know we were going to do feng shui. We have all these amazing ideas.
We will. Yep. Yeah. So we bought a fountain for the door, and we have the water flowing towards the front door so the money can flow in. It's funny. I watched a lottery show, a couple. They were a disaster. I mean, they were like, I think they had gone through bankruptcy. They had a lot of financial problems. And one Christmas, her daughter said to her mom, buy a lottery ticket. And she just randomly bought a lottery ticket. And she had a fountain set up in front of her house, and they won $150 million. And she credited it to the fountain. I saw this like a year ago. I don't know why it took me so long to get a fountain, but I'm like, you know what? I don't care if it's witchcraft. I don't care what it is. It's like, it's setting the intention.
It's the intention. Yes. That's what I believe.
I'm telling the universe, we're ready. Flow it in, right?
I love feng shui, and I know people are like, what? It's an ancient Chinese tradition of placing things in your home in certain areas.
Yeah.
And then it, supposedly, makes things happen. But I swear, to me, it's the fact that you're setting purposeful intention. And every
time you see it, you're
right.
thinking, oh, that's already done.
Exactly.
Like, I don't have to think about it being in the lack of it because I've set it up so that it's coming.
Right.
So
you've planted the seed. And so then, right, you just always know. And so that's it. If you put something in each one of your bagwas, are called, each one of the squares. It's like if you put a tic-tac-toe, thing.
We're going to do it. We're going to do my house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
I
just want to give a shout out here to people watching. Hey, Jenna Morris and
Jenna.
Shay, hello, and Jennifer. Oh, yeah, Petey.
Hey, miss you, girl.
Oh, wow. She says, so true. I realized during the TRO group coaching that my trauma had become my identity. Then I learned to change the frequency. Now I'm creating a different reality. Woohoo! That is
good work. She did some.
Oh yeah,
work. That is
yeah.
incredible.
That was.
Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
That just makes me feel so good.
Yeah,
so
I
good.
know. That's so beautiful. And Thomas is here. Hey there.
Thomas.
Looks like
sweating it out in Sedona.
Pete Dawson is here. Made it. Great.
I saw Pete's little grandson laughing today. Man, was that cute.
Oh yeah, so cute. I saw
nothing like a baby laughing.
And I think I posted it just like 2 minutes before 1 p.m. on the East Coast, but I guess the dollar has asked for us for 1 minute at the top of the hour. I figure every top of the hour, it doesn't matter, it's 1 o'clock somewhere, we can join in and just have a moment of however you either pray or meditate or whatever. I just think that's a great idea. To me, that's a great idea to do every day. But
well, and I think it's a great idea to not just pray. I kind of I've taken prayer to a different place where it's like, instead of praying for what we don't have, it's like, why don't we just visualize what we want? That puts you that puts you more in the expectation of it and less in the lack of it. So it's like, oh, let's pray now that the world is a disaster. It's like, no, let's just set intentions. Let's raise ourselves higher. Let's see the vision for what we want to see in the world, where everyone is happy and everyone loves each other and we have equality and we're allowed to hug and we're allowed to, talk to one another and we're allowed to be free.
Yeah.
So I like that a lot. And we can do that. Maybe we can do that at the end.
Very cool. Oh yeah. We want to talk about totems because I've had a couple of funny ones. Not funny. They weren't funny actually, because I had a scorpion that I stepped on. Thankfully, it was already mostly dead, and so it didn't sting me. But wow, that was just such a weird experience because I stepped on it, and here's my little hair tie. It was almost like it was under my foot, and just the little claws went. Oh,
how loud did you scream?
Well, I don't think I did because I was just, I don't know.
I would have lost my ever-loving mind.
It was crazy. And then I was just, I couldn't, it was like I was what's the word? Dumbfounded more than screaming.
Well, and what did you do?
It was in the dark.
What happened right before you stepped on this?
Oh, that I had gone to a shaman.
Where were you?
Healing. Yeah, I went to this, oh my gosh, this amazing shaman here on Maui. And he did a 2-hour Reiki session on me. And I mean, the energy that was moving through me was insane. I mean, in fact, when he was done, he's looked at his shirt. He's like, I am sweating. He's like, I never sweat when I give Reiki. I mean, all he does is sit there with his hands like on your body, not touching. And he's like, I don't know what's going on, but wow, you moved a lot of energy.
That's crazy. So
yeah. And then,
falling out of you. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe the scorpion. I don't know. But yeah, but it's all, I was trying to, now I can't quite even remember what it means, but it was such a great.
Well, I think you said that it was a releasing of fear. Like it was a massive, cleansing of fear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Which is great. And really owning, my own, like putting, they've got that skeleton thing around them. They look really, cause they have their armor up, and it's about, just, you can take care of yourself. There's like you don't need anybody to take care of you, which is pretty cool. And then, and it's so weird. I feel like shame around this, which is ridiculous, but my dog, I had my dog sleeping with me the other night, and he doesn't normally, but I was like, oh, you can come up here with me. And in the morning, he had been sleeping on the white sheet, and there was a flea, dink, dink,
Oh,
dink. And I'm like, oh my God, oh my God. So I spent the entire day yesterday putting diatomaceous earth on every furry or, every soft thing in the house. I put it all over the dog. I mean, I looked up on
diatomaceous
video.
earth is the shit for getting rid of things.
Yeah. But oh my gosh. And he's not itching at all, because he was like itching, and I was just like, oh my God. But anyway, and I don't know why, but I felt shame that my dog had fleas, because I've never experienced actually seeing a flea before.
That's bizarre.
I know. But
so what did it mean?
So, oh my God. And now it was why am I not thinking what it is? It's in the Ted Andrews book. So you talk. I'm going to grab the Ted Andrews book.
All right. We gotta know what this flea means. I haven't had a lot of fleas in my life either. I've had a few instances with lice that were not great.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Not a fan of that whatsoever. It's funny how these little tiny bugs make you feel so dirty.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, oh my God, I don't want anyone to know. And so here I am announcing it.
Telling it to the world. Yeah.
Because I figure, you know what, it's just not, it's my own little, like, I have to be perfect, right? And my dog's not perfect because he has a flea.
Ugh.
But when I read this, I was like, oh my gosh, so good. Why can't I remember it now? Because I'm in the moment, right?
Yes, totally. And you got the book, so you don't have to remember it.
Well, guess what? It's not even in here. I read it. I Googled it last night, and it was it came up on a Facebook post.
Yeah, so you guys, if you have like animals or bugs or something that's like super obvious, it's really cool to look them up. And you just look up the animal or whatever under totem. So I'm going to look up the flea totem.
Yeah, and I want to look it up because it was definitely on
it indicates a need for darkness and can represent the people who have an aversion to light. If flea has come into your life, it might be time to retreat into shelter and take stock of your life.
See, I didn't like that one. I didn't.
You haven't stayed in enough, Lisa.
No, it's because I read that and I'm like, that does not resonate with me.
Okay, hold on.
So then I looked up this one. Here we go. A flea is a powerhouse of a life force.
Oh, I just got that one. Okay.
Determination. The soul of a flea burns as brightly as the sun, but the little ones have.
I'm on a show right now, babe.
The little ones have the advantage of quick mobility and even invisibility, as their small bodies are often undetectable. Just a minute. Let me get down to where it says. Up. Flea shows those of us who have felt victimized or powerless that we really do have tremendous influence, agility, self-preservation, and protection abilities.
Wow.
It reminds us of resilience. The harsh criticism of others may scratch away at our self-esteem, but nothing can crush our spirit if we define ourselves from within.
I like that.
I was like, this is so good.
I like that. Can you post that? That was really good.
By seeing how big we are inside, instead of focusing on small-minded insults or transgressions from without, we harness our inner strength and can fly even without wings.
That is amazing. Wow. That was really cool. And you only needed one little flea to get that.
That's right. And now it's all gone because I thanked them for coming and giving me that message. And now they're out.
That's incredible. That is really incredible. So I had a friend this morning who sent me a text, Diane. She's one of my really good friends. And so her son was, he was playing for the Texas Rangers right out of college. He got drafted. I guess that's what you call it, right? And just got lost his position because of the whole COVID thing. They let go of 1,000 major league players.
Wow.
So this morning she said she was driving down going to breakfast and a butterfly flew with her. She said, I asked it if it was a sign, and then an old man walked past me with a baseball Hall of Fame shirt on, and then a truck with a bumper sticker said, pray more, worry less. Like she said it was all within 10 seconds. It was like boom, 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 boom. And you're just like, you can't make up messages like that are so specific to what's going on with you and the messages that you need to hear so bad. And it just, I don't know, it just really creates an incredible force of faith, I think.
Yes.
You know, especially when you read those totems and they're so designed for a message for, especially right now,
especially right now, right? That message is just incredible. So, yeah.
When I moved to California, we went for a walk in the back of our apartments one day and we saw 19 rabbits. And I thought, God, California has a lot of rabbits. We do have a lot of rabbits, that's true. But I have never since then seen that many at one time. And it was all about home. It was about being home and feeling secure in your home. And I thought, wow, holy crap, we're home. Like, you just need these little messages sometimes, you know?
I know.
Especially when you're like, your foundation has been so rocked and you're just like, did we do the right thing, you know? So look for those things because they're everywhere. And especially if you've got an animal that keeps coming to you, like my hawks that keep, you know, reminding me.
Which showed up right as we were logging on today. So yep, they're still around even though your tree's been cut down.
So true. And you've had, I mean, you and people on this page, I know several people on Facebook that have things with red cardinals all the time. They just, they mean something. For me, it's yellow butterflies. I always feel like those are my passed away loved ones. Joseph White Wolf says ravens are passed away loved ones. And when we were with him, Michael and I saw 10 of them. And he said, you guys have a lot of passed away loved ones with you all the time. And that just feels great.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's so awesome. Cool. Well, and I mentioned it before, but on another show, but the best sign I think I ever had was when I was leaving my home and moving to Hawaii, and I was crying. Yes. I was driving across the country. I was in Missouri, and I literally out loud was just like, oh dear God, did I make the right choice? And right in front of me, all of a sudden there was a stoplight or something. And so we came to a stop, and I'm kind of like, you know, crying, and look up, and there's this box truck in front of me, and it says the right choice, the best choice. And I just was like, what?
It was like a lunch meat truck, right?
Yeah, it was what was it? It was some sort of potato chips or something.
Oh, I love it. I love
it. But
I
have a picture of it, and it's next to my bed. So I just always know that, you know, the right choice, the best choice.
There's a lot of messages out there for us, you know.
That's right. That's right. But you got to be open to them, and you got to believe, you know. So
you got to be awake. You know, if you're walking around and you're in your head all the time, I call it business mode. You know, you see people like this all the time, and they're not present. They're just in their minds. That was one thing actually that Bruce Lee said, is that if you're in your mind, you're not in your spirit. Like if you're just focused on what's going on up here, it's like you can't connect with your heart because you're too much listening to, you know, those habitual neural pathway loops. So it's important for us. And that's why Lisa and I always, you know, recommend, highly recommend meditation, because it helps you to create that gap between your mind and, you know, your spirit, who you really are, that inner being, that place where, you know, miracles can unfold and you can get in touch with your truest self. They talked a lot about self-actualization. That was one of his things. Like, he really wanted to be self-actualized, which is, you know, no longer feeling like anyone has any control over you or your life. You're living in the power state of knowing that infinite energy just streams through you, and you're an expression of all that is.
That is so cool. Pete mentioned, he said, when something's beneath you, when something beneath your feet relates to understanding.
Oh,
I love that. Right?
That's cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
That's interesting. Understanding.
So yeah, he said there's something about Scorpion energy that you need to understand.
Ooh.
So, yeah, and again, like I said, I know it had I should have had those totem meanings.
The biggest thing I remember, and it was the full moon in Scorpio.
Yeah. Oh, it ended up not being Scorpio.
Oh, it wasn't? Okay.
No, Sagittarius. But anyway, one of my friends who is an astrologer pointed that out. I was like, oh wait, it was a way better story when it was Scorpio. But you know, I like that fake news. I could just make it a Scorpio.
Fake news. I mean, really, we can just make anything up at this point.
Well, that's kind of what I've realized, is that we can, I mean, if nothing else, this whole experience means that we can make up whatever we want about our life and just be true with it. I mean, that's, you know, it's so true. Like when Jim Carrey was playing that part in that movie.
The Andy Kaufman
movie. He completely lost himself into the character. And that's what we can do. We can create a new character. If you don't like what's happening in your life, you can create a new character and start living that. It's just a matter of deciding. And again, that's all about parallel lives, which, my God, I've got, look at these books I have next to me here. So I've got Parallel Lives. I'm like reading just randomly all these different, Ted Andrews. I love Ted Andrews. That's a great one for spirit.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't have an animal book. I always just Google it.
Yeah. And then the Cleanse to Heal and the Tiny Habits, which I'm getting through it. It's really good. I'm excited to set up some new habits.
I'm proud of you. I have not, I cracked it once and haven't yet. I've been really into just fun reading. Really. Yeah. I mean, that Leanne Moriarty, she's amazing. Is that her name?
Oh no, Anita.
No, it's Leanne Moriarty. She's an Australian writer, and she has written several books. And the one I just read was so interesting. It was about a woman who lost her memory. She fell and hit her head, and she was going through a divorce. And she woke up and thought it was 10 years earlier, so she didn't want a divorce. And it was just really interesting to see. They end up, I won't share how it ends up, but it's interesting to see how when people get into relationships and they become something else, and it creates a lot of strife in the relationship. And then you just get into this, thank God my husband and I have never done this, where you just get in, I've seen a lot of people like this, where you're just like bickering all the time.
Oh yeah.
And like, there's no teaching moments. You can't make any progress with the other person because you've just taken these stance. There's no compassion. There's no love. There's no connection. And how they get back to that is just it was the coolest thing to kind of follow, and to see how a marriage that started out so wonderful could come to a place that's so horrible. And it kind of just made me really look at relationships with people, because I've worked with a lot of people going through divorce, and I think anyone that's gone through a divorce, if they could have done it differently, they would have, especially when you have children, because it's so hard.
Yeah.
So I've read like 5 of her books. They're like 500 pages.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm doing that instead of really anything else, because I can.
We should start a book list on the page.
Yeah, that's a great
people that are reading books and what they're enjoying and things like that.
Let's do that. And even like inspirational movies is a great idea.
Yeah. I just watched a Street Cat Named Bob last night on.
Never heard of that.
True story about a drug addict who's his life gets changed by this cat that comes into his life. It was very sweet. It was in London. Yeah, it's a great one. It's on it's not Netflix, it's Amazon Prime, free. Okay. Yeah.
A
street cat named Bob.
Okay.
And now he's written a ton of books, and anyway, I mean, it's based on a real book. It's based on a real book.
I love it. That's awesome. So yeah, we'll share some inspirational books and inspirational stories, because we have to feed our minds with the right information right now. And we've got to kind of unplug from the stuff, like, because there's really nothing that we can take as fact at this point, because I don't think anything is really real. It's like,
no, I don't know. I mean, unless it's
kind of take it and I go, oh, that makes sense to me. I like that.
Right. Unless it's happening to me, I mean, it's not happening. But I've always kind of believed that. I know this is ridiculous, but I almost kind of think like, like when we get off, I know you're there now because we're talking, but once we close this down, I'm just like, oh, it's just me in my own little world here, with, I mean, like, you're just a pretend player in my movie,
Right.
You step off stage, you're no longer, I don't know where you go, but you're no longer a part of my movie. So.
Well, and Fred Dodson actually talks about that, how, certain people in certain realities will, like, certain things won't touch them. There could be like a catastrophic event near you, and you're not affected by it because you're not in vibrational alignment with it.
Yeah.
So it's like interesting to think about, the fact that I don't need to be involved in that car accident because I'm not lined up with that car accident. It might have been right in front of me, but I didn't need to be involved in it.
Yeah, that happened. It happened in Connecticut, when we had those giant hurricanes. One of them came, was it hurricane
storm in October?
It wasn't Sandy. I forget.
What year was it?
I don't know. We had like 3 in a row or something. But anyway, I mean, literally my house the whole time was in a bubble. I mean, across, literally like just across the street, like 100, I mean, there was like a microburst there, and like 100 trees got taken down, and yet they were on the other side of a bunch of trees, so I didn't even see it until I walked over there, you know. And the same, and then there was a house behind us that, you know, trees went down, and we didn't have anything.
Same with us. It was like up the street. So, you know, if you have that belief system that nothing's going to hurt you, nothing can touch you, that you are in this vibrational realm of higher, you know, that's why I think this whole virus situation never really scared me. I mean, I had moments, but for the most part, it was like, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I have a great immune system, like I'm protected, you know? And if you have that resolve, then you don't walk around in fear, and you can have that resolve pretty much about anything. It doesn't mean nothing bad is ever going to happen to you.
Well, right. Yeah. Things, definitely things, whatever needs to happen is going to happen, but you're not, you know, it wasn't
part of the
like
contrast.
I wasn't supposed to deal with 100 trees going down on my property for whatever reason that time.
Exactly.
I just want to mention, Thomas said he saw a roadrunner yesterday a few feet in front of me with a lizard mouth for lunch.
I love roadrunners. Roadrunners need humor, getting back to lightheartedness and joy. I love seeing them. Yeah, I've never seen them until I moved to California, and they are hysterical, actually.
That's great. Really, he said he watched me and hopped on a rock and then flew a few feet to a wild, a lizard in his mouth for lunch. He watched me and hopped on a rock and then flew a few feet to wild to eat in peace. I see them on the trail, but not this close. Love them, and ravens. Yeah, that's very cool, Thomas.
He really wanted you to see him.
What's that?
He really wanted him to see him. Like when it's that obvious, you know. When
I
it's
know.
Not like
well, that was like, yesterday when I went to beach dance, I was walking down the trail and a red cardinal came and sat on a branch, like right in front of my face. I'm like, oh, hi. And then it flew off, you know? I mean, that just doesn't normally happen.
No, it doesn't. And you can't really discount it, I don't think. I mean, I can't.
I can't either.
That's awesome. So was there anything else that we needed to talk about? Any more magic we wanted to share?
I think that was it that I can recall.
Yeah, I like the idea of sharing inspirational movies and books.
Yeah, and we should do, like, if people see animals, like, put them down and what's your meaning, you know, look up the meaning and put it down. That'd be fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think
that's a great idea.
Well, awesome.
Yay. Well, do we want to do a quick meditation and call in some good energy?
I think so. It's 11:55 here, so we can just tune in. It's almost noon, so it's 1 o'clock somewhere in 5 minutes. So we can we'll just start the energy rolling that direction.
Very different than it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so we invite everyone to close their eyes and center their beings in the here and now. And just take some deep breaths and let your shoulders drop. Just kind of let all the tension out. So take a deep breath. Open up the crown of your head and just draw in this beautiful stream of light, this divine energy that is always there, always looking for opportunities to connect with you. And just feel that light streaming in and down and all around you, coming into your face, activating and releasing your jaw, releasing any tension or any issues that you've picked up along the way. Just let them fade into the light. Bring that energy down the back of your head and into your neck, and really let it stream across the back of your shoulders. Just releasing the weight of the world. It is not your responsibility to fix anything. It is only your responsibility to find that peace and joy and alignment within. And that allows everything to come into the alignment of well-being. So let that stream of well-being come into your heart and activate that heart chakra, opening your heart to all the love, to all the joy, all the abundance, and the true worthiness of your being, to be in this time and space and to create the reality that you are so interested in, that you desire so intensely. And letting that light come down into your abdomen, igniting your power center, helping you to remember who you are, And then bringing that light down into your creative center under your belly button, and just letting that activate the balance of your emotions, your creative field, your sexual energy, and connecting you to the energy of all that is. And then bring that energy down into your root. And let's just activate a lot of support, the energy of faith and prosperity, the energy of knowing that all is well and that we are always cared for. We are never alone, and that we are in this place for very, very important reasons, so that we may bring the love, the light, the laughter, the energy of well-being to all, to everyone who comes in contact with us. And just bring that light all the way around your energy field, 3 to 4 feet out. Imagine it swirling around you, making this tunnel, this volcano of well-being, of health, of support and love.
Focusing on your heart center at this time, imagine what it is that you want to create in your life or in this world. Focus on all that beautiful energy of how exactly you would like to see this world unfold, or in your life, what you'd like to see. Just imagine it exactly the way you would like it, without any regard to any how it's going to happen. Just exactly what you want. And this is planting the seed of your truest desire. And you're given desires because that is what your spirit has been brought here to cultivate and to create here on this planet. So if you didn't have the desire, it wouldn't be part of your plan or your path. That's why you're given the desire. And if you're apart from that desire right now, it's because your mind has taken over and you're doing things because you think, using your brain, that that's the way to find your peace and happiness. But in fact, it's following your heart's desire that will bring that peace and happiness. And again, you would not have that without it being a part of your plan and your path in this lifetime. So keep your heart open to that dream and to that desire. And the more that you can focus your energy there and cultivate the idea of that happening and imagining it in your mind and then feeling it as if it's already happened, see it as it's already been done, because it actually has been. It's just for you then to step into that experience of creation that's already there. And again, you will do that by following each action step that is presented toward you in that desire. Many times people get an idea or a desire and then they're offered an opportunity to step forward, but because it's generally scary or outside of their comfort zone, they decline the invitation from the universe. So this is your invitation to hold steady your desire and then allow yourself to follow the steps that are presented. And even if it's scary, continue walking forward. There is no right or wrong decision to be made in your lifetime. It's just a different experience. And so why not take the experience that's going toward your desire rather than try to stay safe and small and protected? You're only here in this lifetime for this one time in this lifetime are you here. And so it's your opportunity to take that leap and jump. And maybe you will be able to fly even without wings, as we were told earlier.
Trusting that there's always a way. That's what keeps coming, is trusting there's always a way. And even if you can't see it right now, you cannot even imagine what's going to line up for you as you take those steps forward and create that leap of faith that turns everything on, that activates your co-creative partnership with the universe. It's better. It's so much better than you can even imagine. You just have to take the step forward. And sometimes you have to let go first. Mm-hmm. If you've been holding on too tight, if you've been in too much lack, sometimes you just have to let go and allow for the shift in energies to start sharing with you what the next steps are. What can I do? How can I do this? And being excited about it and realizing that your fear and excitement are the same energy. It's just the filter you send them through that gives them meaning. Mm-hmm. So just turn it towards excitement. And that's where all the juice is. That's where all the joy is. That's where all the fun is.
Beautiful.
So lastly, let's just call in peace. Let's call in love. Let's call in compassion. Let's call in an up-leveling and an upgrading of the world we live in, where we focus on the joy, where we focus on what is good, and where we focus on the present moment awareness of what is truly happening right now for us and what we decide we want to create in the realities that are completely within our power and within our worthiness to become everything we desire.
Amen, sister.
Woo!
That was good.
It was like pour sweat when we do that.
Well, that was amazing. We're going to jump off here on Facebook and head over to YouTube and the podcast. And if you sign up for our YouTube, you get an abundance video that we did, which is
there's going to be more
is our birthright.
There's going to be more coming too. We've got some good things really planned for some little mini recordings that are going to be super helpful. And those are only probably going to be on YouTube, I think. So you definitely want to head over there and subscribe to our channel, The Real Ones with a Z. And if you put Goldyn and Lisa first, you're more likely to find us and not a rap group.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to put Goldyn and Lisa, The Real Ones. Otherwise, it's a rap group.
Might be rapping.
So cool. Well, we love
All right, we love you guys. Let us know if you need anything. Peace.
Okay, bye. Okay, we are here still with our YouTubers and our podcasters. We're so thrilled to have you here, and we're going to pull some cards.
Yeah, we are. And what are we pulling cards about today?
I think it's about that creating our own world, and it's
creating our own realities.
Yeah. And that truly, I mean, I love the fact, I mean, I didn't really put it together until we started talking about, all the fake news that's out there.
Yeah.
Because we get to create our own reality. So it's all fake.
Yeah. Everything has been, I feel like, a little discredited. So
yeah. So but that's what's kind of fun now is like, oh, wow, there's nobody really out there keeping track of what's real and what's not real. So we can just
make it up.
So, all right. So the first card, which is the blockage card, is perfection.
Interesting.
Well, so to me, what it's saying is, we collectively before all this, it was like, oh, it's all perfect. Everything is, like I remember as a kid thinking that like taxi drivers and bus drivers, like that they were such stellar. And again, I'm sure they are stellar drivers. I've had some experiences with bus drivers and taxi drivers that have not been stellar. And so I, and as a kid, I thought all grown-ups were like truthful and honest and helpful and loving and kind. And that's just not true. So, again, we grow up thinking that the life is perfect, like everything,
Right. But I will say that if you do have a belief and think about the better society of people, instead of believing that people are bad, that you will create that in your experience. And that's probably as a kid what you created a lot of by believing that.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, that I created what? That it was all good?
Yeah, that you created a lot of adults and you saw the best of what people had to offer because you were tuned into that frequency.
Yeah, that is true.
the blockage card as far as like the perfection of the world that we live in, and maybe that has come to a screeching halt right now. It doesn't mean that it has to, because if we really truly believe in creating our own realities, then we believe that all of this is going to turn to good, and that our world is going to be better than it's ever been, because all of this stuff was underlying before anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing too, I'm getting, is because it's the blockage card, is that people think it's not perfect right now. And it is. I mean, everything is perfect.
People think it's a damn mess right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
But there's no mistake. So this is fun. This is the action card, dream.
Oh, dream.
I think this is the first time we pulled this card.
This is kind of fun. How cool is that?
How cool is that? And that's kind of what we were just doing on our little meditation that we did, was like, dream your biggest dreams. What is it? Like, stop like complaining about what is, and start like focusing on what you really desire and what your dreams are.
Right, because what is only a construct of what you've been thinking in the past. Like, you can change it as soon as today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
That's very cool. That is very cool. And then your outcome is align
with your well-being, because it's always there.
Exactly. I love it. Yeah, because when you focus on your on your dreams, and then, like we said, it's like the next steps are literally put in front of you, and it's just a matter of, are you willing to take those steps or not?
They are. I was thinking about my daughter today. It was so funny that came up in meditation, because I was having a conversation with her girlfriend who's visiting, and she was saying, it's so crazy how this whole thing unfolded. Like, she thought she wasn't going to be able to move to California, and then the COVID thing happened, and she lost her job, and she had to move in with us for a few weeks, but then she gets this house for $100 a month. I mean, she's got this 3-bedroom house. It is such a great spot. And now she got an amazing job. I didn't even share this with you.
Oh,
yeah, she got 2 jobs, and one was the job she really wanted, which is basically looking at the ocean. This was her thing she wanted. And right now there's these huge yachts that are in the way, but they're used for wedding venues, and I guess their lease is going to end. And so the guy that owns the restaurant told her, like, those are going to be moved out, and you're going to get a clear shot of the ocean. And it's like farm to table. It's all of the things, like the high-end foods that she loves to serve.
Wow.
And so, she just got a full-time position.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And now she's looking for a place down that way, which is always where I saw her, Costa Mesa, Newport area.
Mm-hmm.
Because her house, she's supposed to move out like the end of July. They're going to my husband's going to start a renovation on the house. So, it's like, I told her friend, I said, you can't make this shit up. Like, there's no way that she could have even imagined that it would have gone this way.
That it unfolded the way it did.
She would have been on unemployment, that she would have had $100 rent a month, that she'd get a 3-bedroom house. I mean, it's just, it's unheard of, And if you try to line it up that way and go, okay, I have nothing to worry about, and this is how it's going to happen, it's like, no, it's going to be better.
That's right. That is exciting. That's a great story. I love it.
Good stuff. I love watching things like that unfold, and just being so proud of her. I texted her the other day and I said, I'm so proud of you. Like, you focused on what you wanted, and boom, it all unfolded, It's that easy, people.
Very cool. There it is.
Yeah.
It is. That's awesome.
Where's the easy button?
Okay.
All right. We love you guys.
Oh, it's 12:11 here. So we've been on exactly an hour.
Perfect.
How fun is that?
Perfect. All right. We'll see you guys next week. We love you. Peace.
Love you. Aloha.